So now we're going to talk about the ETS UV system. UV is a secondary disinfection. It basically gets rid of all the things that your normal disinfectant, whether it be bleach or liquid, calcium, whatever it is, however you're doing your main bleach function of your pool, this creates your secondary disinfection. Like I said, they are installed in all your features. Technically, in the state of Texas, once it's installed, it's part of your code, meaning it always has to be running at a specific dose level and all these things. Panel, start, stop, reset. These are your navigation functions. Chamber is down here. You have a couple of different components on your chamber. The back component, which is this little guy, is a temperature sensor. The only purpose of that temperature sensor is a safety. It'll be close to the water, but if the room gets real hot, that could actually be hotter. You know what your water temp might be, so we don't tell people to rely on that as a water temp gauge. It's a safety feature. If for some reason flow stops and this hasn't been turned off or anything like that, that temperature probe reads the surface temperature of the chamber, and once it gets to a certain threshold, I believe it's 127 degrees Fahrenheit, it will shut itself down to protect itself so that you don't damage the lamp. Over temping on a regular basis can damage the lamp over time if you're doing it all the time. But if it's intermittent, it shouldn't affect it too much on it. The next thing we have is what's called a UV monitor. That's actually reading the light that comes off the lamp in a form of an intensity. Your lamp is right here, and this is your wiper system. This has an automatic wiper system that squeegees the sleeve that lamp is sitting in, and also has a flapper that wipes a little sight glass that's in here. So technically this can be removed, no water comes out. This can be removed, no water comes out. We never recommend removing the lamp unless this is stopped. And if you stop it and have to do anything with the lamp for any reason, let it cool down. It will be very hot, and it is definitely hot enough to burn you. Because this is what's considered a medium pressure system. The most common systems in the aquatic world is low pressure, mild, and medium pressure. Your low pressure systems don't run nearly as hot as medium pressure. Medium pressure always has to have water flow to keep things cool because of the temperature of the lake. So far as all your cords and everything like that, all that has been set up pretty nice. Everything's there. Your dose right now is reading very high. Your minimum dose set point is 40 millijoules. That's the number you want to remember. So millijoules takes that intensity, does a calculation, takes a velocity, which we'll cover here shortly, and gives you this power reading. I say power because joules is a form of energy reading. So flow is set to design rate, which is whatever submitted on the prints to the state. So that is a fixed number. It is not variable, it's not a flow meter. And then you can see your chamber temperature here. They put that on there so that you can see that it's operating close to the water. Sometimes this will be a good indicator that you might be having problems with your flow or something like that. It's slowed down and it can get a little warmer. But typically on this particular system, the gauge is about 3 to 4 gallons per minute per kilowatt. That's a 1.5. So really, you could flow 10 gallons a minute and it wouldn't overheat. You might heat up your water if you're flowing that slow, but it technically shouldn't overheat. There's enough cooling power. Your menus have a lot of information. Talked about that UV monitor intensity. This is just kind of a gauge of what it's doing within its parameters. Nothing major there. You have your average lamp power. Here's where you can see what your lamp's doing. We're going to do two things while I go through this training. I'm going to show you the different control functions for start and stop, and I'm also going to show you how to put this in a variable mode. And the variable mode is it can modulate down to 30%. It's like a VFD for your lamp. More or less, when it's in variable mode, that's what you want to run it in because you don't ever need to be any higher than 45. The way this one's running from what I see, yeah, it's going to be above 45, but that's okay. As it gets dirty, what happens is as things foul, the lamp ages, it'll start modulating the power up if it drops below 45. So it always wants to modulate at 45, and your alarm points are at 40 and below. So if this goes into a low dose alarm, you'll see it on the screen. It won't shut down. It'll stay running, but you'll see it on the screen. The little fault light will flash. The faults on this particular system always are what you're gonna see. If I walk away and leave it on any screen, within so many minutes, it's always gonna default back to the fault screen. If there's no faults, it'll always default back to that original screen with the dose reading. So, nothing major there. We have wiper here telling you what it's doing. I'm gonna show you how to adjust the wiper. We typically, on outdoor systems, we have it wiping 4 times a day, about every 6 hours. That might become relative if you start seeing your dose declining a little faster on your features. Okay, and the reason I say that is that you have 2 other UV systems on the other side of the Defender that are tied directly into your feature pumps. So you're getting the filtered water that comes from the tank, but those typically might foul a little faster, and you might need to increase the wiper cycle. You know what? I think I want to wipe it like maybe every 2 hours during operation. I'll show you how to manipulate that. It's not that hard. Okay, serial number, system hours. If you were to call us, and let's just say you get a hold of our service advisor, you're going to want to let them, number one, what equipment you're dealing with. If you don't remember the part, the model number, not the end of the world. If it gets into where you might potentially need parts or anything like that, then at that point we'd want the model number and potentially the serial number. But model number gets us everywhere you want to go. You call us and tell us you need help with anything and say, hey, you know what, I have problems with my UV. This is what I got. This is what it's doing. We can help you.
Right.
Okay, so we have an operator menu. Once you see the operator menu, you can hit enter. This is a control mode. Right now it's in local, meaning start and stop are active. So anytime you shut the pump down, or you're going to do a media change on your Defender, or you're going to come in and do your bump, you need to remember to turn this off, because a bump cycle lasts about 12 minutes when it's an automatic. That's just from how many times it's going up and down to the 10-minute pre-coat cycle. So you definitely want to shut this off, because they are very flow dependent in order to see cool. Like we talked about the over temp, you don't want to do it on the regular basis. Okay. If you were to somehow integrate this, which there are options for all that, then you can change the mode where it might be controlled by something else. So your next function is if for any reason you needed to change the flow rate according to something that's either been submitted or you guys have decided, or your management has decided, you know, we want this to read because this is where we're flowing, this is where you would change it. Anytime you change a function in here, you hit enter, you'll see the start come up. You can make your changes up and down arrow. Enter again, goes away. It's accepted the parameter change, yes. All right. Control mode, full power. Here's where I was talking about. We hit enter. We now have a variable function. Now what it's going to do is it's going to start modulating the power to the lamp down and try to hit 45. I don't think it's going to hit 45.
And 45 is preset?
45 is preset. We always like to have a little bit of margin of error. That at 45, we're always modulating above 40, which is your minimum set point of what you need to be according to the state. Okay. You have a calibrate wiper function. We do see wiper faults, especially when you have power issues. Let's just say the power goes out, bad storm, and there's a wiper fault. You can actually force calibration from the screen, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing, because on the previous generations, you couldn't do it. You had to actually do it with the panel open power. Yeah, it was not fun. In this, you can also force wiper runs. So if you want to see that you need to increase the wiper cycle, so you know what? I'm going to force a wiper cycle and see what happens, and see if my dose increases. And oh, look, my percentage of power was at 80%. Oh, now it's at 75%. That's a good indicator that you might need to increase your wiper cycle. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because service position, I don't think you'd have to worry about any of that. So there is a setup menu. In your setup menu, the password is ETS. Okay. In your ETS menu, I'm going to show you how to adjust that wiper cycle, because that's probably the most relative function you would perform. So we scroll through, you got different options for lamp, dose, all those different things. Tells you the type. There's your interval run. So this is unfiltered water. So that's why it only really needs to go twice a day. You have a regenerative media system that's filtering down to 5 microns. So there's no purpose of running it more. But this is where you would change it. You'd hit your enter. You can start arrowing up and down. If you hold the button, it does go faster. You'll kind of get a feel for that. But this is where you would change your wiper cycle. And the manual's really good on this one too, where if you were to scroll through and look at wiper menu and you go down, it'll tell you, it kind of walks you through and how to do all that. It's not a problem. It's like anything. You probably got a lot of training of a lot of different equipment, and 3 weeks down the road when it's relative, oh man, then you know what? Give us a call. Say, hey, I need to change my wiper. Not a problem. If you don't get me, like I said, you get our service team. Marlene will either get you on the phone with someone, or maybe she'll have someone sitting in her office and be like, oh yeah, I can help you. Okay. We're happy to walk you through over the phone. Not a problem. So those are the more relative things that you have with this particular system. So we're going to go ahead and go back. This does have a logging function, meaning if you're getting an intermittent issue that's giving you problems and you're not really understanding, there is a way to pull the logs out and look at them. It goes in the form of an Excel sheet. We can walk you through that. If you don't want to be walked through and you want us to come out and look at it, we can do that too.
So it logs everything that happens?
Yes. There's a time interval. It's about a 2-year memory capacity. That's what we say. If I remember correctly, it's logging parameters every 5 minutes. And it's in the form of an Excel sheet. So we can kind of see what's happening if somebody, let's just say it's overtemping on a regular basis because you have someone else doing the bump cycle. And they're like, well, I don't know what happened. You can pull that out and look at it and say, oh yeah, it's overtemping exactly at 7 a.m. every day. Oh, hey, that's Bobby going in there. Hey man, you need to remember to turn this off.
Yeah. So
it's
now it's dosing at 72, so if I want to go...
You can see what the power is. There you go. So it's modulating down a little bit.
Now it's 54%.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes its time as it modulates down. Right. So it'll probably go down a little bit further. So. Yep. And then you always end up back where you were.
All right. Cool.
So. The only thing I point out in the chamber is this guy right here. Okay, that is a strainer. Its intended purposes is it's a safety device. That is in case the quartz breaks, that catches it so it will get out of the filter system. And the same thing on your other units. I do believe, so on your bigger units, you have what's called an easy strainer. You'll actually see a green handle. Mm-hmm. That always is closed, never open. Now on those, when you're on non-filtered water, I would put that on the PM schedule to reverse maybe every month or every couple of weeks. What that does is if any dirt, fibers, or whatever are getting through your strainer, it'll start collecting in there, and if you flip it over, it'll just reverse it. So
we actually have one in Land 4.
Yep.
There's one of those, so
yep.
We'll take a... Well, I did a video on how to clean it and everything, just like Monday. So, and how to clean these too. So you'll have a video on how to do that.
This actually,
so y'all reverse them, or y'all actually take them out?
That's supposed to be closed.
Are you talking? Are you?
You can't. Well, you
We
technically
have it
bypass,
closed.
So you can't bypass. That's
No,
side
but
streaming.
You said
Is what that's considered.
on that
You're not
green
allowed to
valve
do
you can reverse